welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to be tackling our second puzzle ever by the constructor Paletron, which could be Paletron. It's called Parity Loop. It came out about a week ago. The testers have taken a look at it in response to a number of recommendations we've had for this one, and they say it is absolutely fantastic. And it's, well, as I was about to say, it involves parity, but we could have got that from the title. Parity Loop sort of gives it away. I'll read you the rules in a moment or two's time, and we will have a look at the puzzle together. But before that, what do I have to tell you about? I've got a few things today. We did a crossword video again this morning. I do actually really love making those videos, so if you are interested in getting to know how to solve cryptic crosswords, you might want to check that out. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. And in fact, there is a bonus crossword video coming out tomorrow on Patreon. Mark has made a video in which he solves a recent listener puzzle, which was I'm not going to remember the name. I remember that it was by KG, and it's been absolutely eulogized about. I better not say too much because I don't want to spoil it. But anyway, Mark's done a video talking through that puzzle. So if you're into your solving of very hard cryptic crosswords, check that out. You will enjoy it. It's over on Patreon and will be there, as I say, tomorrow, Saturday. Other than that, what else can I tell you about? Well, speaking of Patreon, I need to announce the winner of the Patreon competition for August. And I can tell you that out of the hat we drew Eric Cross. After a drum roll, there was a notional drum roll there. So Eric, many congratulations. I will drop you an email later on this afternoon with your prize. Yeah, very well done. And we've got a roll of honour that will roll at the end of this video with the names of everybody who sent in a correct entry. So check that out. That will appear at the end of this video. Other than that, what else have we got? We've got a couple of birthdays to do today. So Simone, a very happy birthday to you over there in Atlanta, Georgia. Simone has turned 35 today. I don't know if I meant to reveal that. I hope that's okay. Atlanta, Georgia is a city I have been to just once, but I absolutely loved the place. Yeah, I spent a morning in the Civil Rights Museum. What an extraordinary place that is. If you have the chance to go there and you haven't been there, it will be an emotional ride, let me tell you. Other than that, Tim, it's your birthday today. You've turned 41, and I know this because your wife, I think it's Maida, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Well, your wife Maida wrote to us, I mean, the only disappointing part of her email, Tim, was that she says you're thinking long and hard about whether you can have chocolate cake today, given that you have a strong preference for banana cream pie. I mean, what are you doing, man? Banana is the food of the devil. I've said this many times. Get the chocolate cake. If there's any choice, get the chocolate cake. It won't poison you. So, Tim, I hope you have a very happy birthday with chocolate cake today. And yeah, that's the news. I think that's everything I had to mention. I've got a horrible feeling it isn't. But anyway, if I have forgotten something, I'll mention it tomorrow instead. Let's have a look at Parity Loop. Let's see what Paletron has in store for us. These are the rules to the puzzle. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So that means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box, just once each. And then we have to draw a single closed loop without branching or crossing, moving orthogonally through the centers of some cells in the grid. So let's immediately, if you're new to our software, you might not have this option enabled. If you click the cog icon and then enable the pen tool, which is that top option there, that will give you the opportunity to start doing this in the grid. The software that Sven has made is absolutely brilliant. Look, we can just draw loops in the grid. We can draw them in different colors. Now let's also deal with what the word orthogonally means. Orthogonally means sharing an edge. So to draw an a loop that moves orthogonally from cell to cell, we have to do that, not that. These two cells are not orthogonally joined. They touch at a point. That is not an orthogonal connection. So we've got to draw a single closed loop without branching or crossing, moving orthogonally through the centers of cells The loop travels on cells. The loop travels on the cells of the same parity, and when it crosses a box border, the parity switches. So if this box was, if this box was an odd box, and then we went into this box, then we would have to start putting even digits on the loop until we went into another box. So there's a strange parity switching thing going on. The loop passes through each circle, and the number in the circle counts the number of cells around it which are visited by the loop, including itself. So a maximum of 9. Okay, so we can put 9. Well, we couldn't put 9 in that circle, could we? Because that only has 6 cells connecting with it. But you could put 9 in that circle, because then you could do something like that, presumably, and that would be legitimate. Cells connected by a V sum to 5. So we've only got one of those, so those 2 digits have to sum to 5. And then cells connected by an X sum to 10. So these sum to 10, those sum to 10, and those sum to 10. And that is all the rules. Do have a go at this one. Lots of people recommending this and saying it is quite magnificent. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, let's get cracking. Well, we're told that the circles all contain loop. So that must be a corner of the loop. So let's draw the loop in. It's got to move like that, doesn't it? I can't see anything else obvious. Let's label up the V. That's got to be either 1, 4 or 2, 3. Oh, please don't be Sudoku. I mean, this would be outrageous if I have to do Sudoku at this moment of the puzzle. Let's think instead about... That has to be a 3 or a 4, because it's either... because it only sees 4 cells. There's only 4 cells connected with it. And 3 are already on the loop. Well... Okay, I can see what's happening here. And this is a very, very funny first digit. Yeah, okay. So I think the question we're meant to ask is, how does the loop get out of box 1? And we know it must get out of box 1. I mean, I do long for the day. I shouldn't say this because we'll get inundated with puzzles that have this feature. But, I mean, it would be funny for an April Fool if you had a puzzle like this which involved a loop, and then the loop just stayed. The loop, you could prove logically the loop only could do that or something. Well, this loop, we're told, has to enter these other circles. So it's definitely got to visit other boxes. So how are we going to get the loop out of box 1? And the quickest we could get it out of box 1 would be to sort of move with alacrity there and move with alacrity there. There's no shorter route we can take, is there? And that means that we must be taking 5 cells of loop in box 1. And here is a knowledge bomb for you. How many Sudoku digits are there that are even? And the answer is not 5. The answer is 4, 2, 4, 6 and 8. So I think that has to be, to get out of this box, because we have to take 5 cells, we must be thinking about odd numbers being on the loop in box 1, and therefore that cell is odd. And therefore it's a 3. And that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, proving its position. I love that. So that's the first digit. We get a 3 in the corner. Well... Yeah, okay, and because we have to get out of the box in only 5 cells, we can't turn. Because if we turn, we're going to take 6 cells in the box, aren't we? So the loop has to do this. Ah, okay. I've seen something else here. But okay, I'm actually going to label those digits up. 1, 5, 7, 9. So these are even, obviously. Maybe I don't know whether we need to do parity shading or not. I'm not sure yet. Let's put 8 into one of these, because these are all even. So 8 is in one of those. But the other thing I've just thought is this. And that is that we've got some sort of... we've got a bishop's move constraint in this puzzle, haven't we? By which I mean that, that now we have established that box 1 contains odd looped digits. We know that the other... We know that only boxes on the same bishop's colour as box 1, that's going to be box 5, box 3, box 9 and box 7, only those boxes now can have odd looped digits on them. And that's because, obviously, as we've gone into box 2 here, now the parity shifts on the loop. So this has got even digits. This has got even digits. But when I next exit this... Oh, well, actually, it's still true to say, even if we looped back, which we can't do, even if we looped back into box 1, we're always going to be on an... You know, if we treat this as box 1, we're always going to be on an odd number when we enter into boxes 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. So we're always going to be we're always going to have changed parity twice, if you like, to get to those boxes, and therefore we're going to be back on odd numbers. So what that means is that into these boxes, this box and this, well, these circles all have to contain odd numbers. And that's almost useless, actually. That gets me rid of a 7 here. That's really mean. Okay, so let's do these. These have to be even numbers. 2, 4, 6 and 8. That can't be a 2. Because if that was a 2, it's impossible, because we know the loop goes in here. So to get the loop in and out of this circle is going to consume at least 3 cells. In fact, it can't be 8, I've just seen, as well, for 2 reasons. It can't be 8 because there aren't 8 cells around it, and it can't be 8 because there's an 8 in the corner. So that is 4 or 6. That square is 2, 4 or 6 because it's a loop cell in an even box. Well, okay, and the loop can't deviate in going from here to here. And that's because if it does try and deviate, it'll consume all of the even digits in the box, and then we won't be able to move. And that doesn't seem the point of the puzzle at all. I just paused for a moment then, but I think it's fine. I worried about that, but that's not even possible because we can't have any more odd digits in box 1. So we have to go there, and then we have to do something else. I don't know what. Well, oh, no. Oh, I do see what. That's a 4, of course. This is lovely. I really like this already. It's the deductions, they're not necessarily difficult, but they're just elegant. Okay, how could this possibly be a 6? That would say all 6 of those digits are on the loop, yet they're all in the same box of the Sudoku. There are not 6 different even digits in Sudoku. So this is 4. Which means this is not 4. And all the even digits then in box 2 are loop digits. And they all... No, what I was about to say is not true. No, it is true. Because I can't... Yeah, so these have to be odd digits. Okay, let me just fill those in. They're odd digits. They can't put 5 on an X domino, or it'll have to be accompanied with another 5. So there is now... we probably could have done this anyway, but there must be an odd digit on a V domino, because it's either 1, 4 or 2, 3. So it's either got 1 or 3 on it. In fact, that's a good point. There must also be a 1 or a 3 on an X domino that has odd digits on it, because it's either 1, 9 or 3, 7. So there is a 1, 3 pair in those 4 squares, which means this square is not 1 or 3, and this square is not 1. But the other thing I'm noticing is that between these 6 squares, all of the odd digits must appear in row 3, all 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and one of these. And that means, well, we already knew these were even. We've now deduced that this is even. So that's 2, 4, or 6. Right. Now the next thing I'm thinking is where does the loop exit box 2? And I think it has to be here. And that's because we know we have to take in 4 even digits. So again, it's a sort of bishop's move thing. Once we're in this cell, we've got 2 more cells in this box that we have to occupy in order to make sure 4 of the cells around the 4 are occupied. So we can do that, or we can do that. But that's the only 2 things we can do. So we're always going to arrive in this square having used up our full quota of 4 and being core 8, and therefore we're going to have to exit the box. So this certainly can't be a 1, because it's going to be... it can't be a 9 either, because this square cannot be looped because it's odd in an even box. So we're on 3, 5, or 7 for this. Now, is 7 actually possible? Ooh, 7 is possible. That's weird. You could have 7 here if you had all 5 odd digits in those squares on the loop in box 3, and then those 2 squares being on the loop in box 2 and both being even. So you can achieve a 7 here. But by the same token, I think you can achieve... Oh, can you? No. Actually, maybe you can achieve a 3. Can you achieve a 3 like this? I think so. Not sure. Feels like it might be possible though. I can't. There might be a rinky-dink that means that's not permissible, but that feels potentially true to me. Right. That can't be 4, I'm noticing by Sudoku. Oh, hang on, no. I tell you why this can't come down. It's because this has to be visited by the loop. So again, if that's got to be on the loop, you've got to get in and out of this square, so that's at least equal to 3. And this can't be 9. In fact, this can't be 7 either, because this is only counting the number of odd digits in box 3, isn't it? So that is exactly equal to 3 or 5. So this... I was going to say this can't be 7, but is that true? If it's 7, that would be 5. Oh, I don't know now. I'm not sure. If that's 3, that would be 5. But that I don't think that's possible, because I don't see how I could make this 3 and this 5. Because the loop doesn't seem to be able to come over here, because these are 2 even digits, so it can never go into that square. And that means if this was 5, it's got 5 in there, and they'd all be counted in that one. So that doesn't work. Okay, so this is 5 or 7, and this is 3 or 5. The fact this can be 7 makes me think it's going to be 7. So I suspect this is going 7, 5. If it goes... Okay, but the loop can't go here. So if it did go 5, 3, what would that look like? This could only be 3, and we'd have to get out of the... We have to visit this square, so it would have to be this. But if this is 7... Yes, then it would have to be that, wouldn't it? There's no other way of doing that because we got a parity differential between these two squares. You can't take both of them, so you can't duck down here and somehow, well, there's no wiggle to be done. You can't do it. So so what we actually learn here is quite cool. Yes, I make this joke every day, but it bears repeating. My sister would tell you that, you really don't want to bump into me at a party. She's told me my entire life that, it is one of the most boring experiences that a human being can endure. But so anyway, this is either doing that or it's doing that, and either way, that is forced, and then that's really interesting again, because now that's got to be odd, which means that's got to be even, which means that we've created a sort of aisle through which the loop must travel, so it must duck out there, at which point this cell is therefore of even parity, so that's 2, 4, 6 or 8. And we've actually done quite a remarkable amount here. That's got to be 2, 4, 6 or 8 as well, hasn't it? Because that's clearly, we've switched parity to evenness when we've entered box 4. So we've got 2. So if this x was even, the rest of this row would be odd numbers. Because an x always has the same parity on it. It's either 2, 8, 4, 6, so even parity, or 1, 9, 3, 7, odd parity. This is even. It's not 4, so that's 2, 6 or 8. That's lovely. Right, let's explore this one for a moment, because I can see something that looks relevant here. So where's the next move that we make for this? We know that we're allowed to occupy even digits on the loop in this box only. And there are 2 even digits there. And whichever way the loop goes, it either goes here or here. But it's going to move onto an x then that will become even parity entirely. So that the complement, the absolute, all 4 even digits in this box are in those cells. Because once this moves, if it moves here, this has to be even, and that's going to be all 4 evens. If it moves here, that's all 4 evens. But the point is that is surrounded by odd digits that cannot be looped, yet it itself is on the loop. And that means the loop must do that. That is a corner of the loop. I don't know what that means, but that's what I noticed. Oh, I see. So if I could work out that 8 wasn't here, then we would know. Well, yeah, okay. So the loop now, because it needs to get out of box 4, it's either going straight across and out here, or it's going straight down and out here. I don't know how to tell which of those it does, I'm afraid. Let's try and... Well, that can't be a 2. That seems to be true, doesn't it? Because we've already seen 3 here. 3 loop segments. In fact, that can't be a 1 by exactly the same token. That's already seeing 3. And we've got to get out of this square. So wherever the loop goes next, it's going to increase this count. So this is at least a 5. That can't be a 2. Oh! Well, neither of these can be 2s because they're both on the loop. And although we haven't drawn how the loop moves into these squares, once you have a circle with a loop on it, to get in and out of the circle is going to take at least 3 cells. So those can't be 2s. Yeah, alright, so this is a 6-8 pair because that can't be a 4. because I haven't gone into it yet, and I'm already on a count of 3. So I'm going to add at least 3 more, even if I did something like that, which would be the least I could do. So this square here is at least a 6. So one of these is an 8. That doesn't seem... Well, that seems incredibly difficult. Yeah, that can't be 8. That can't be 8. Because how are we going to achieve a count of 8? This only C. This is lovely, actually. This is lovely. Right, look at this. I'm going to highlight all of the cells that this circle sees. There we go. They're these green ones. Now, only 3 of those are in box 5. So we could pick up all of those. But that means we'd have to get 5 even digits on the loop in box 8. And there are not 5 different even digits. So that just doesn't work at all. So we actually know the order of this. This is 6. This is 8. Now, that's absolutely ridiculous because of this given. Because now, how are we going to achieve an 8 here? We can't. This cannot be on the loop because it's odd. So all of those squares are looped. This is all loop somehow or other. And now hang on. What does this mean? I don't know. I don't think this can be a 9, actually, now I think about it, because that would require this to be on the loop, and we know that's an odd digit in an even box. So that square there is 5 or 7 now. And it's not 5 because it already sees 6 definite loop cells in its vicinity. So it is 7, which means these are not 7, which means this is not 7. No, that doesn't help. This square. So we're looking at this complement of digits, aren't we? And we know those three are definitely odd. So the maximum count of this is 6. So this can't be 8. But let me just highlight that again. Can that be 6? Not sure. Maybe. I can't see why it can't be. And if it's 4, then we're saying these are the only 4 cells around this clue that are on the loop. And we would know that it was those. But that seems possible, doesn't it? I suppose that square's got to be a 2 or a 4, because that's in an even box. Okay. So what do we do with that knowledge now? Beautiful. That x is not even, is it? For a lovely read. Oh, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong because it can escape there. And then I was thinking the parity, it couldn't have the same parity, but it wouldn't need to have the same parity. Because if this was, I don't know, 2-8 or something. Oh no, maybe it can't be 2-8. That would have to be 4-6. Oh, come on. That's it. All right, I lucked into that. I was thinking that this couldn't be, because then this couldn't be a 5th even digit in the row, forgetting of course that the parity would change as it crossed the border. But I've just seen a beautiful reason why this can't be even, and it's because it can't be 4-6 now because of this, and it can't be 2-8 because of where 8 is in box 1, which is there, so you can't put 8 on this domino. So this is not an even domino. Yes, so in fact we need to be able to put because neither of these can be 4-6. The question is, where's the 2-8 domino? And it has to be here. That's the simple way of seeing it. So that is a 2-8 domino. This is a 4-6 pair. 5 is now placed in this box because you can't put 5 on the x. So that's got to be 5. That means there's a 5 in one of these two squares. It means this square. Well, okay. One thing it means, I will just avail myself of the. There, I'm going to do that because this domino adds to 10, so say it's 1 9, then this domino will be left with 3 7, so this also adds to 10. So we've got an actual 10 domino and a virtual 10 domino there. Now hang on, let's get rid of the 2 and the 8 there. Sorry, the 8 corner mark anyway. So okay, so now that the loop, we can do more loop, can't we? The loop comes down here and exits where the parity changes again. So this square is now, well, this is an odd digit and it's not 3 or 7, so that is 1 5 or 9. Okay. So do we know? We've definitely got 3. Well, okay. So one thing I'm seeing here is what I can't do with the loop is that. Because then to get this onto the loop, I have to do that. And then however this continues, I'm going to have far too many even digits in box 8. So this does some wiggling. This cell here does some wiggling before it arrives in this square. But if it wiggles at all... Yeah, okay, so because this has to wiggle, however it wiggles, all 5 odd digits are loop cells in this box because we can't just close this off. Well, not only that, it's not only that all 5 odd digits are looped in this box, it's also well, I think this square has to join directly up with this square, because if that wasn't the case, you just can't do it. Oh, was one thing I hadn't thought of actually. That's okay. I hadn't thought of something, which is, what about that? Is that possible? Well, that is not possible, but for a peculiar reason. The reason that's not possible is that this 7 clue doesn't work. Yes, okay. So what perhaps this is the way I'm meant to think about this. This is telling us that one of these squares only is on the loop. We know that one of them must be because we need to connect this up to here somehow. I've just realised that I've drawn that in and that's not justified. But we know one of these must be in, or this could never get out. But it's not both of these, so it's exactly one of them. And we know that's impossible, so we must go down, we must move across. Now I still might not... Well now, yes, okay, so now having come into this one's off limits, so I have to go there. Now do we go up or do we go out is the question. So if I do that and that and that, what's wrong with that? Anything or nothing? I don't think I know. I'm not sure. There might be a clever way of telling, but at least we've done some work there. These are all odd digits. That aren't equal to 7, so they've got to be 1, 3, 5, and 9. There's no 3 here, which means 7 in this column is now up here, which means that that square is not a 7. and this square in the corner is a 4 or a 6 by our old friend Sudoku. It's the sort of counterpart of this one. So that means these squares are 2, 4 and 6, and that's not 6 by Sudoku. And there's probably some more cleverness we can do here. We just have to be clever enough to figure out what Paletron has built into the puzzle. Let me think. Do we know where the fourth even digit is in this box is one question I'm asking. I mean, it's clearly not here, is it? I don't think it can be there. How would you ever get to this square and then get out of it again? You can't. So it's not there. Yeah, so maybe that's the easiest way of thinking about it, is this can't be even. Because if it's even, how do you get to it? There's no way in. Or there is a way in, but there's no way out. And if that isn't even, that is a corner. And if that's a corner, that's actually telling us that we have to do this, which means that has to close. And now the 6 has become a corner. Good grief. So now that tells us this is even, and therefore that is 2 or 4. And then we've got a 2, 4 pair here. We've got a 2, 4 pair here. The rest of this row is even. 1, 3, 5, and 9. Not 7 because of this digit. Now, do we know this closes up or not at all? No, we don't. We're on odd parity in this box, so these are odd. They're not 5. So these are 1, 3, 7, and 9. That's not 7. So, right, and this 6 is done, actually, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can't take either of those squares for the loop, which means this has to continue into the circle, which can't be a 1 in a circle. We should have learnt that already. It can't be 9 because neither of these can be on the loop. So that's come right down. That's 3 or 5. Let's get rid of the green actually now, because that's a bit discombobulating. I don't think we need that anymore. We've approximately got the structure of the loop, haven't we? Although we don't know how this closes. Now, what's the next step then? Any ideas? 5 is a bit restricted in this box. It's got to be down here. Doesn't do anything. I don't think. Oh dear, I don't know. I'm not sure where to look now. Do I know what that digit is? That feels like an important question. So we're counting up. I think we probably do now, don't we? We've got 4 loop segments, but these are all out of bounds, so we could only achieve 5, so that is 4. That's 4, that's 6, that's 4. That's knocking 6 out of here. That's giving me this digit. That's 2. That's 6. Come on. Right, I've now got a 2-8 pair here. So this is, oopsie, press the wrong button. That's 2-8. This is 4-6. That doesn't do it, does it? Does it? Well, no, it does. It does something. Where's 8 in this row now? It seems to have to be there. I don't quite understand what I did then, but that seems to be right. So this now is 6 or 8. Oh, don't turn off my computer. That's Bitdefender trying to do some update or other. 2 is definitely in one of those squares. So 2 is definitely in one of these squares. Whoopsie. I have to put a corner pencil mark into one of those two. So actually, because this is 4 and it's got its total, that's off the loop, and that closes the loop here. So that seems important, although we've got no circles in box 5, I'm noticing. So do we know that we know the loop doesn't come into box 5 from up here, don't we? Because we know that there's some even wiggle to be done in box 2. It's either this or this. But could it come into this box? Could we do something like that? That given 5 is a bit suspicious, isn't it? Don't know. Not sure. What about... I don't know. I'm not sure where to look now. I'm sure there's going to be a good place, but I just have to figure out where it is. There's definitely a 3 in one of these squares. No, it doesn't seem to be the sensible thing to look at. There's definitely a 3 in one of these. No. Okay. This could be 3. Could it really be 5? We know these are off the loop. So at the moment we're on a count of 2. Here's something. Right. That square is odd. I don't know what it is. Well, I do sort of know a bit about what it is. It's 1, 3 or 9, I think. But that means in this row, that's all the odd digits catered for. So these are all even. And that means that this one, which we know doesn't avail itself of these two because of the 6 clue, which is complete. So these are off the loop. These are off the loop. So let's just mark what's off the loop from this one's perspective. So we're on a count of 2. Oh, we could get 5. I don't believe it. That we could do it like that. Oh, that's infuriating. Although could we? That looks... I don't think we could, actually. Because to achieve 5, all of these have to be on the loop. And how would we do that and not break this clue? By which I mean I've only got 4 odd digits. Sorry, 4 even digits to cater for in box 6. So, to get to this square... Oh no, hang on. I might be wrong again. I keep being wrong. I don't like that. No, I still don't think you can do it. Because the moment you go here, you can't go here because you're going to run out of even digits even more quickly in this box. So you have to go up, you have to go there, you have to go there, and now all the evens are used up. But you can't connect these up. There's no way to do it. And if you go up there and then do this, again, we've used up all the even digits in box 6. It just doesn't work. There's just not enough flexibility. So that's a 3, which is doing not near... Actually, that doesn't really do anything. That's bizarre. Because now I'm seeing that I could go straight up, and the 3 would work. Or I could go straight across and then up, and then connect these up, and I would have enough even digits to play with. So we don't know. We get a 3 and it does nothing. Foiled we are. That's really bizarre. I felt sure that was going to be a monumental breakthrough, and yet it wasn't. And Maverick's just coming to buzz past my window, unsurprisingly, probably to gloat at my stupidity. Okay. Well, 2. Yeah, 4, 6, 8 here. We've got a 2, 4 pair, so 2 in the bottom row has to be in one of these squares, which means none of those squares are 2. So that's a 4, 6, 8 triple, which means this square here is a 2, which means that's a 4. So that gives me a 6 at the top of the grid now, out of nowhere. Which means 6... I can get a 6. That's a 6 now by Sudoku in box 5. So 6 is in one of these 3 squares. 4 is in one of those 2 squares. Just doing a little bit of Sudoku. It's outrageous to be asked to do it, but that seems to be what we're being required to do. Oh, right. Okay. So now that doesn't seem to be able to be a 2. Why not? Oh, because of that. Yeah, in fact, so that's become an 8. And now the only place I can put 2 in the box where it's going to allow for a connection is there. So that's how box 2 is finished all of a sudden. Oh, this is huge. Right. Because now look at row 1. And the 7 in row 1 seems to have to be over here, and that makes this a 5 and this a 3, which is not, I don't think that is what I was expecting. I get 1 4 on this. Right, this x now is not 1 9, so that's 3 7. So that's no longer 7. 7 at the bottom is very useful. So 7 and 3, we're getting to do some Sudoku. 5 in this box has to be here. This is a 1 9 pair. So that square is not 1 or 9 or 5. That's become a 7. And that's become a 9. So this has become a 1 5 pair. What's going on? This has become a 1 5 pair. This has become a 3 9 pair. So that's become a 1. This has become a 1. That's become a 5. These squares are now known. Let's put them in. 3 5 and 9. Now, can we do better than that? 5 has to be in the middle of those. And somehow the 3 and 9 are maybe not resolved. It depends whether we can get this digit. I'm not sure whether we can. We can do 4 and 6 in the top rows though. 4 and 6 go in. That square now is a 2. We can get rid of 4 from this one. We can get rid of 8 from this one. We've not put 7 and 9 into the top row. So that square's known. That's got to be a 6. So that's a 4. And now there's a 4 in one of those two. Okay, so look, this has become a 5 9 pair as well. It's somehow not resolved. And these two squares, I want to say, well, I've got to put 1 in this box, so 1 and 2 go in. So this is not 2 anymore, so this has come right down. This is 4 or 8. 1 is over here. Oh, in fact, look, that's interesting. No comments, please. All of the even digits have made an appearance in column 9. So these are all odd, and therefore these are off the loop in box 6, which is an even box. Now, I was thinking I knew where 5 went in this column, but I don't actually. It could be here or here. So these are off limits. Those are off limits for the loop. But we've got no circles to help us here, do we? Okay. So how do we do this then? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a Sudoku-y point in the sense that this cell has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 looking at it. So that's 7, 8 or 9. Do I know? I don't think I know more than that, do I? Well, if that is on the loop, it's an 8, and that would fix this 2 8 pair, which again looks quite reasonable. Yeah, so there's 2 possible ways this 3 moves. We can't now go all the way across there. In fact, if we go there, we have to turn out. That's it. It's simple. Right. I was saying there was 2 possible ways the 3 moves. That's not true anymore, because this square is no longer available. And the reason this square is not available to the loop is that we then have to turn up into an odd digit in an even box, and that's too naughty for words. We must not do that. So we can never come to this square because we'd have to turn up, and that's going to make the 3 equal to at least 4. So we have to turn up immediately, and then we can't turn left because that's going to break this clue, or this clue, depending on which one, or the fact that this is an odd box. It breaks so many things. So we have to carry straight on. So both of these digits are now even, and they're not 4. So these are 2, 6 or 8, which is possibly interesting. Well, yeah, okay, and the next move that right, oh, this is lovely, right. So the next move that this makes, and I don't know where it is, it's to here or to here, but it's one of those needs to be an even digit. And that's going to complete, that means all 4 even digits are in those 5 cells, which means this cannot be 8 anymore. So I've got a 7, 9 pair in this column, and that gives me a 5 and a 9. In fact, is it just a straight count now? 1, 3, yeah, look at this column. I've got 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9 identified. So that is of its very essence an even digit. And that's important because we need it. We need it to get out of this square. So we have to do that and that. So we don't visit box 5 actually after all this. So now we can get rid of 2 from this square. Can we do any better? I don't know. That's odd, and is 7 or... Oh, it's not 5. Hang on, why have I got 5 in this square? Yeah, there are 4 5s looking at box 6. So we can place a 5 here. We know that's not 6. Why have I got a 6 pencil mark there? Oh, that's just Sudoku. Okay, that's fine. So there's a 6 in one of these squares. That's not 6 is the point. Whoops, not 6, not 8. Oh, okay, so I've got a 2, 8 pair in this row. So that's all the even digits in this row. So we already knew this was odd. This is a 1, 3 pair, isn't it? Which feels like I should be able to do it. So that's a 7 or a 9. I think I just need one more breaker through up here and we'll be good to go. I'm trying to see it from a Sudoku perspective and I can't. Bobbins, I think is the phrase we're looking for. What's it going to be? 5 here is doing the 5 and the 1. Okay, it's probably Sudoku. That's almost certainly what I've missed. Yeah, okay, look at this column. I've got 7 is locked into one of these squares, and they're both on virtual x's, which is that's gorgeous, because that immediately means, because 7 is here, 3 is here in this box, so 3 is not here, which means this becomes a 7, 9 pair, which means this becomes a 1, 3 pair. Which, okay, I don't know what that's... That does give me a 1, 3 pair in this row, which might be important. I've got a 7, 9 pair in that row as well. Oh, that's quite good. 7, 9 pair in that row makes that a 3. So that's a 3 and that's a 9. We can take 3 out of both of these squares. I've now found a 1, 9 pair in column 5 from somewhere or other. This is now a 2, 8 pair. Well, that's surely doing something in this row. That square's now a 6 because it can't be 2 or 8, and that square's a 4. Right, so that becomes an 8, and that becomes a 2. So the 2 and the 8 get resolved over this side, the 2 and the 8 get resolved over this side. And presumably, he says, without much justification, because I can't see what this means, but it must mean something. 4 is there. Okay, so so this square now is, I want to say that is a 7 or a 9 by Sudoku. And therefore in this box, yeah, that is right, because I've got a 1, 3 pair. Now in this box, the 1 is here, which means this square has to be a 3, and that's a 1. So this is a 3, and this is a 7. That's a 9, that's a 1. That's a 7, that's a 9. That's a 1, that's a 7, that's a 9. That's a 9, that's a 1. It's just going to fill in, is it? 9, 3, 9, 7, 6, 8 is done. Wow, that's such a brilliant puzzle. That is just a brilliant puzzle because it's so... Oh, I haven't actually closed the loop there. Oh, I've got to be careful. Hang on. Okay, yeah, it closes like that, doesn't it? Because that 5 is already seeing 5 cells. So we can't go off on an excursion up there, or we break the 3. Right, let's actually double check then. Is the loop actually closed? Yes, I think so. That 3 is correct. That 6 is correct. That 8 is correct. 7, yep. 4, yep. 3, yes. Okay, so I think that's right. I don't know if the machine will know. It does know. You've solved the puzzle. The solution is correct. 45 people have solved. Oh, it's averaging about 1 a day. Oh, this is a much older puzzle than I realised then. But actually, it's a fantastic puzzle. Parity Loop by Paletron. What a second puzzle that is for you, Paletron, on the channel. It's beautiful. The logic is beautiful. I love the idea of the parity switch. I love the logic that introduced. The circles, their selection was gorgeous. I mean, the start's beautiful, that you can just write a 3 in the corner once you consider how the loop has to move. This was a beautiful corner. Loved it. And, and the way it all resolved in the end, it sort of felt fairly miraculous. I love the way that you can sort of worry away at how the loop must move through boxes, and eventually it sort of everything becomes clear when it seemed so opaque at the start. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.